Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate the support. Let's get into it. So the X-Men are some of the most iconic Marvel characters in history, and after many adaptations in TV and a Fox movie franchise, which had some great movies like X2, First Class, Days of Future Past, while having some not so hot movies like Last Stand, Dark Phoenix, and X-Men Origins Wolverine, along with the recent comments made by Kevin Feige about how they are going to introduce the X-Men, when they're going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU. I believe there was a good time to make an MCU XMen Wishlist. Just some things I'd like to see when they do introduce the X-Men and what they end up doing with these characters. And make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. My ideas are not the correct ideas. It's just thoughts. Make sure to leave yours. Let's have a civil discussion if it gets to that point. Let's get it. The thing I'm going to talk about first is how I would want the X-Men to be introduced into the MCU. I really don't know how I would like that, simply because it's going to be difficult for the MCU to shoehorn these X-Men that have rich history and backgrounds and everything like that into this already well-established universe. I don't know if they're going to go multiverse or what they're going to do, honestly. I've got a feeling Wanda and Doctor Strange are going to play into it. Oh my gosh, my dog just scared the heck out of me. Uh, but so I don't know how I want them to be introduced, but when they are introduced, I would probably like it if they introduced just one X-Men in an off project, whether I don't know who that would be, maybe Rogue or someone like that, just kind of in someone else's project to tease the X-Men team. But as far as the first X-Men team I want to see, when I first see the X-Men come together, I don't want Wolverine on the team. I feel like after a very Wolverine-centric Fox franchise, I feel like we need to go in a different direction, not have Wolverine be the main hero. Not all the time, at least. Obviously, I love Wolverine. I think Wolverine's super cool. He's one of the most iconic superheroes of all time, but the MCU, I believe, can do a fantastic job of really developing all of the other big hitters in the X-Men universe. So I feel like they've got a great chance to do that, and the way to do that is not to have Wolverine introduced right off the bat. As far as the X-Men team makeup, I'd like to see Professor X get Storm, Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Iceman together. I really want this to be the first X-Men team. I feel like this is a good combination of X-Men that are iconic and well known, and just characters that everyone wants to see done really well on screen. And I feel like it's a really good team that doesn't feature Wolverine. I feel like this is a good enough team to get a lot of people to the theaters without having that draw of Wolverine. One X-Men I want to talk about in particular is Cyclops. My wishes for him, I hope Cyclops is the most well done, drawn out X-Men in the entire MCU. Regardless of what they do with every other character, I really want Cyclops to be done right. Cyclops is my favorite X-Men character. He really is. I really think his powers are really cool. I love his look and everything like that. In the X-Men Fox franchise, he did not get the kind of attention he deserved and was not as fleshed out as he should be. He should be the focal point leader of the X-Men, just to spearhead the leader of the team. Yeah, Professor X kind of puts everybody together, but as far as tactical and leadership, Scott Summers should be A1, top tier. Honestly, as long as they get Scott Summers really good, I will give the MCU a lot of leeway on what to do with the other X-Men. But if they don't get Cyclops right, I'm going to be very upset. And I just want Iceman to be either the most powerful or one of the most powerful X-Men in the MCU. He's supposed to be an Omega level mutant, and I want that done right. Now, as far as Wolverine, because that's the biggest question mark coming into the MCU outside of how they're going to introduce the X-Men. I want Wolverine to be introduced in a solo movie or in someone else's project where he's a big part. I would prefer a solo Wolverine movie where we can just go 2 hours just having fun with Logan. That would be really fun. I think it'd be awesome. that's something I would really like to see. As far as who I'd like to play Wolverine, it's going to be tough to follow Hugh Jackman, especially as iconic as he was and how great he was as Wolverine, especially in Logan. But if I had to pick one person, well, if I had to pick one person from any point in time, I would pick Tom. I would pick Tom Hardy before he was Bane. But after being Bane and Venom, I just don't think it's a good fit anymore, really, for Tom Hardy. But if I had to pick someone, I would feel really, really confident in Anthony Starr's ability to play Wolverine. I think this is the role. He's kind of well known, but not super well known. And this would he's Homelander in The Boys, if you don't know that. And this would be the kind of role to really propel him into superstar because he's playing Wolverine. That's a big time role. That is one of superheroes' biggest roles. Right there with being Superman or Batman or Spider-Man, in my opinion. And my second choice would be Charlie Hunnam, but it's kind of a way secondary choice to Anthony Starr, who I feel like would be fantastic. If they're going to do Stryker, I really want Charlie Cooper, but I don't know if they go Stryker again, but we'll see. But I think a Wolverine solo movie would be the best way to introduce Wolverine into the MCU. Some other characters I'd like to see: Magneto, Rogue, Gambit, Mystique, Nightcrawler. Everyone that I talked about in this video are the really big hitters. I've got no doubt that the MCU is going to do all these characters justice and everything like that. Now, I do want Wolverine to join the X-Men at some point, along with Rogue and Nightcrawler and Gambit. Magneto, Mystique can be the Brotherhood. I don't know who else I'd want to fill out the rest of that roster. But I feel like these would be great characters to progress the story forward, and they would serve better as secondary introductions and not Magneto. I want Magneto to be there from the start. But as far as like Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, like those guys can be secondary introductions. I feel like Rogue could be a great first X-Men we learn in the MCU. Maybe she's introduced, like the rumor was Captain Marvel 2, and then she teases the X-Men. I feel like she would be good in that role as well. And then integrate Deadpool, Colossus, Domino, just anybody from the Deadpool franchise, which we know Deadpool 3 is going to be the MCU. Just they'll find a way. I've got a lot of confidence. I want to see the X-Men team up with the Avengers at some point. It's an inevitability. I think it'd be super fun if, let's say, I don't have a specific one. Let's say Storm goes to Wakanda for a Black Panther movie, or just something like that. And then have them sprinkle. I don't want any Avenger characters in the X-Men team movies. I don't want that. But if I would love to see the X-Men, maybe a few X-Men in an Avengers movie, or an X-Men pop up in another solo characters movie, I think that would be really good. But I don't want any Avengers in an X-Men team up movie. And just one more thing that I don't want an Avengers versus the X-Men. I just don't want that. It was good with Civil War because it made sense, but I don't know. I feel like the Avengers would understand maybe the X-Men being these superpowered freaks, because most of them are. So I feel like they just wouldn't make a lot of sense. And I don't want the Avengers to hate the X-Men. That's just dumb. And I don't want them to do Dark Phoenix. I mean, it would be nice to see it get done right, but Fox took 2 cracks at it, and I just don't want to see it again. So thank you for checking out today's video. Make sure you leave your thoughts on what you want out of the MCU X-Men. Are you excited for the X-Men to be in the MCU? Are you not? Do you have your doubts? I'm so excited. I think it's going to be great. Check out the link content. Leave your thoughts. Have a great